So here's something interesting. I'm at Cape Town Station in the Western Cape, and this is the fourth and final stop on our journey across South Africa's railway transformation. We've covered Gauteng's massive metropolitan recovery, KwaZulu-Natal's flood-damaged resurrection. Now we're in the Western Cape, where trains never fully disappeared, but the trust from the commuters did. The Western Cape operates the most extensive commuter rail network outside of Gauteng. 460 kilometers of track, 122 stations, 4 major corridors, 671 scheduled trains per weekday. In 2018, this network moved 500,000 passengers daily, 172 million trips annually. By 2023-24, that had collapsed to just 13 million trips, a 92% decline. Unlike the Eastern Cape, where trains simply stopped, or Gauteng, where vandalism destroyed the infrastructure, the Western Cape's collapse was pretty different. The rail infrastructure completely served a different purpose, unintentionally so. The Western Cape saw the encroachment of over 2,000 households onto the rail network, and that led to completely halting of services on the Central Line, the heartbeat of the Cape Town rail network, which connects millions of daily commuters to their economic activities in the central business district. So in Cape Town and the Western Cape, there are 4 corridors that tell 4 different stories. Let's start where we are now, in the Southern Line. Cape Town to Simonstown via the southern suburbs. 28 station, South Africa's most scenic rail route, hugging the False Bay coastline from Muizenberg to Simonstown. This corridor never really fully collapsed during those times. Trains run every 20 minutes during peak and every hour off peak. Modern Extropolis mega trains, the same blue trains operating in Gauteng, are here. They're clean, they're safe, and they're generally on time. This southern line serves the affluent southern suburbs and coastal towns with tourism potential, big tourism potential. Stations like Newlands connect directly to the cricket stadium precinct. Kalk Bay, where I am now, and Muizenberg are beach destinations. Fishhook is the terminus for most trains, as the line beyond becomes single track to Simonstown. Then you've got the Central Line, Cape Town to Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain via Langa. 21 stations. This is the network's backbone, accounting for over 40% of pre-collapse commuter journeys. It serves the Cape Flats, where the majority of the working class population live. This particular corridor suffered the most vandalism and collapse. For years, it was completely non-operational. Full restoration only came recently, with services expected to resume completely by November of 2025. A massive achievement considering the extent of the damage. When we look at the Central Line's performance year to date, Krisani, or the Khayelitsha line to Stock Road, 1.8 million trips against a 2.2 million annual target. Sarepta to Bontheuvel, including Langa, 1.1 million trips against a 1.6 million annual target. Captain's Clip line, excluding Bontheuvel and Langa, 1.6 million trips against a 1.8 million target every year. The Central Line corridors are growing from a near zero base. Each month shows improvement as more commuters return and trust becomes rebuilt. Then you've got the Cape Flats line, Cape Town to Retreat via Pinelands, Athlone and Lansdowne, 16 stations. This corridor runs east from Cape Town along the main line to Maitland, then branches south along the western edge to Pinelands, crossing under the N2 freeway and over the Black River. It continues through Athlone, where the station provides access to Athlone Stadium, then south through Lansdowne, Ottery and Southfield before joining the Southern Line to Heathfield, with most services terminating at the Retreat stations. It's important to know that the Cape Flats line serves the middle-income suburbs and provides critical connectivity between the Cape Flats communities and both the city centre and the southern suburbs, operating on a double track with modern trains. This corridor maintains consistent service and contributes meaningfully to overall network ridership, though it doesn't dominate headlines like the Central or Southern lines. Then we move to the Northern line in Cape Town. Cape Town to Bellville, then branching to Wellington via Paarl, Muldersvlei via Stellenbosch, or Strand via Somerset West. 48 stations are part of this corridor. This corridor serves northern suburbs and outlying wine country towns. The Stellenbosch line in particular resumed operations in 2024, allowing tourists and wine enthusiasts to reach the winelands much more affordably. Weekend services operate, expanding tourism access beyond private vehicle owners, a genuine economic development achievement for this line. Year to date, the Northern Line's performance, 4.5 million trips against an initial target of 6 million. For the Wellington route, 3.3 million trips against a 4.4 million target. Strand route, 858,000 trips against 1.1 million targeted. These numbers represent substantial growth from the near total suspension during the COVID years. So, unlike other routes, the Western Cape has significant infrastructure advantages. All of the lines are electrified with 3000 voltage DC overhead catenary. All services use the new blue trains, the EMUs, primarily the mega trains. They are modern, they're blue, they've got CCTV, air conditioning, and automated doors. There are 85 operational train sets comprising 1,094 coaches. That's substantially more rolling stock than any other region except Gauteng. The Cape Town station, the network's hub, has 24 platforms. All services either commence or terminate there, providing centralized connectivity. The station connects via MyCity shuttle buses to places like the DHL Stadium via Civic Centre, making it the primary rail access point for major sporting and entertainment events in the city centre. The Southern Line benefits from advanced signalling systems, allowing trains to move every 20 minutes during peak and hourly off-peak. This is on par with the best frequency in South Africa outside of places like Gauteng and its corridors. These infrastructure advantages position the Western Cape to capitalize heavily on growing demand as trust has started to return and the word spreads that the trains are back and they're reliable again. There, however, with all of this efficiency is one constraint. One operational constraint that still limits full recovery potential: the speed restrictions across multiple corridors. For instance, when running normally in the Cape Flats line, the train can do up to 60 kilometers per hour. This is normal operations. Even here where we are on the Southern Line, the train can do 60 kilometers per hour because there's proper signaling and ease of movement. But on the Central Line, you've got places like Inyanga, which still works properly, but then Nyanga to Chris Hani, there are restrictions. It can only do 30 kilometers per hour due to infrastructure as well as security concerns. When you look at the Northern Line, Cape Town to Kraaifontein, on that particular line, there are some restrictions down to 30 kilometers per hour. The train is not really going at its fullest potential. These restrictions unfortunately contribute to things like journey time. A trip that should be taking 30 minutes can take up to 50 minutes when trains crawl to 30 kilometers per hour through extended sections. As a lot of these restrictions are progressively being lifted, service quality is returning and improving, and the ridership satisfaction will accelerate with it. Speed restrictions exist for legitimate safety reasons: track conditions, informal settlements, encroaching on the rail reserves, security vulnerabilities, and things like that. But they're being systematically addressed as part of ongoing infrastructure recoveries. On the Mitchell's Plain route, people have encroached on the tracks, establishing dwellings on rail reserves. This is not right. This is actually why some speed restrictions exist on that line. You cannot run trains at full speed through occupied settlements without catastrophic risk. RSR, the rail safety regulator, they have put these in place. All of this creates complex challenges. Relocation requires alternative housing, legal processes, and even time. Meanwhile, trains must operate even at reduced speeds for safety, making journeys longer. But progress is being made. For instance, in Langa, people who were occupying trains, literally living in stopped coaches, these people have been relocated. In Philippi, communities agreed to relocate in association with PRASA, and these processes are advancing. Something is happening to make sure that the trains run smoothly and efficiently. The demand for the Central Line significantly outstrips current supply though. The corridor serves Khayelitsha, one of South Africa's largest townships, where transport alternatives are expensive and very limited. As things like encroachment are resolved and speed restrictions are lifted progressively, the service will meet more of that demand, driving further ridership growth and trust in the service. Before trains resumed on the Central Line, Khayelitsha residents were paying 1,800 Rand per month for taxi transport to and from Cape Town CBD. With trains operational, that drops to 300 Rand per month. That's 1,500 Rand saved every single month, 18,000 Rand saved annually. That's transformative for households that earn between 5,000 to 8,000 Rand per month. This affordability advantage is the Western Cape's most compelling recovery driver and explains why ridership keeps growing month after month consistently. For working families, the 1,500 Rand saved monthly is the difference between sustainable employment and economic exclusion. As more and more people hear about these savings from friends, from family alike, and even from PRASA, already these people start to use the trains. Word of mouth drives further adoption, creating a positive feedback loop that accelerates recovery. But accessing those savings still requires overcoming an operational friction: cash-only ticketing. So we're on the Central Line in the Western Cape in Cape Town. This line starts Cape Town station, goes all the way to Chris Hani station in Khayelitsha, and it's important to talk to people who actually ride the train on a daily basis, find out what their lived experience is. Bona maphila njani bekhwela itrain and also like kubaleka kanjani itrain kubo? Hi sis, njani?
Hello, Putin, right? Njani?
Ngicela uzazise sis.
Busisiwe Bhadla. Ngihlala e-site C enolungile. I-train ibalekile kuba ngoku kukho i-train yakwazi usave imali. Ngoze ekuqaleni besikhwela i-taxi ibe expensive futhi. Like 50 rand ukuya, 50 rand ukuya.
Yani?
Ewe, and then ke ngoku xa uyibala la mali ngenyanga too much. Iba yi-1 point. So ngoku etraining at least ukhwela nge-220 tikiti lakho le nyanga, and ke ufumaniseka uba unomntana naye ufunda kwalanga naye uyamthengela itikiti lakhe naye, so ufumaniseka niba yi-2 imali less than 400.
Currently, passengers can only buy tickets with cash. This creates bottlenecks. Ticket administrators must count change for each commuter. Queues do sometimes build up during peak times, adding minutes to every journey. But this is being sorted out. The positive developments here is that PRASA has confirmed that there are plans that are very advanced when it comes to automated ticketing systems, ATS, which allowed card payments, tap and go like in other countries, and I've seen them. Selected Western Cape corridors have started trialing these cards out, and the rollout across the province and nationally is planned and very much expected. The ticket matters beyond convenience though. Your ticket is proof that you're a legal paying customer. Your insurance if anything goes wrong, which it likely won't. As automated systems are rolled out, enforcement will improve, fare evasion will start to decline, and revenue will grow to support further service improvements. So across South Africa, PRASA is demonstrating something that amplifies recovery. They're using rail as an integrated event infrastructure platform. Special event trains now operate nationwide for major sporting and entertainment events. Think of things like rugby at Loftus Versfeld and even at Ellis Park in Gauteng, concerts at major stadiums and similar activations in other metros. Even here in the Western Cape, they found a way to jump onto this approach and take advantage of the platform that the PRASA service gives for events. These type of event activations form part of PRASA's initiative to showcase its service offering while also bringing the gears to both runners, supporters, and anybody else who's going to events. Similar special event services operate regularly at major rugby matches at Newlands, even for the cricket stadium where we are now. This is Newlands Station. It makes it super accessible for things like concerts at Grand West Arena via Goodwood Station and events at DHL Stadium via Cape Town Station and the My City connections. These make it seamless. These services deliver 3 benefits: reduced traffic congestion, affordable access for the fans, and marketing opportunities that expose occasional travelers to the rail service's quality. It's increased quality. When somebody takes a train at a rugby match and experiences modern, clean, on-time service, they're likely to take and consider taking this train for daily commutes. Event-based ridership also generates weekend revenue that helps to justify service frequency during off-peak periods. It's integrated transport planning in action, using the rail network's existing capacity to serve multiple purposes beyond the traditional weekday commutes. The Western Cape has something that no other region can offer: scenic tourism routes already integrated into the commuter network. The Southern Line that we're on right now, from Muizenberg to Simonstown, from the Cape Town station, is legitimately one of the world's greatest coastal rail journeys. We've just been on that. The train runs immediately beside False Bay with only a strip of rocks and beach separating the train from the ocean. Stations at St. James, Kalk Bay, and even Muizenberg, these are popular for beachgoers. In 2007, Cape Town Tourism and the city, as well as Metrorail, collaborated to promote the Southern Line as a tourist route, offering hop-on, hop-off tickets, which allowed unlimited off-peak travel. Now, with improved security, frequency, and even reliability, this concept has renewed potential, and this December, it will be in action. The Stellenbosch line, operational again in 2024, connects Cape Town to the winelands. Weekend services allow tourists and wine enthusiasts affordable access to one of South Africa's premier tourism destinations. This isn't just commuter service, it's economic development for the region through accessible tourism. Then you've got Century City Station on the Northern Line, which drops passengers 10 to 15 minutes away from Canal Walk Shopping Centre. Then there's Newlands Station, where we are now, which provides direct access to the cricket stadium precinct and even surrounding restaurants and entertainment. These are genuine amenities already driving weekend and leisure ridership growth. As service consistency continues to improve and marketing intensifies, tourism integration will become an increasingly important revenue as well as ridership driver. Look, the Western Cape's recovery isn't just about infrastructure, it's also about institutional innovation. Here, PRASA and the City of Cape Town have signed a groundbreaking service level plan, an SLP. This is the first of its kind between PRASA and any municipality. But even in eThekwini, they've now got one. This isn't a rail devolution. PRASA still operates all of the trains and all of the services remain under the Department of Transport. But it represents a new model of cooperative governance that other metros are now examining. Just like I said, in eThekwini, under Section 11 of the National Land Transportation Act, municipalities are responsible for preparing transport plans and service level planning for passenger rail in consultation with PRASA. The Western Cape SLP operationalizes this mandate more comprehensively than anywhere else in the country currently. The partnership focuses on several key areas. 1. Property management. Joint efforts to prevent illegal occupation of PRASA properties, identify potential resettlement lands for illegally occupied areas, and manage station precincts a lot more effectively. 2 is the security element. Deployment of joint law enforcement and security personnel across the network, combined with city and PRASA resources for comprehensive coverage. This is what they're pushing for. Then you've got infrastructure development. Think planning and construction of pedestrian as well as vehicle bridges, managing level crossings to minimize safety risk, and ensuring public safety along rail reserves. Then there's integrated transport planning, incorporating commuter rail services into the City of Cape Town or any other metro's comprehensive integrated transport plan, developing public transport facilities around stations, and creating transit-oriented development policies for station precincts. PRASA's commitments include providing critical operational and performance data to the city, continuing infrastructure rebuilding as well as maintenance. On top of that, ensuring rail operations comply with safety regulations and maintaining infrastructure according to corporate plans and even proposed budgets. The city's commitments include supporting commuter rail services through appropriate municipal services, allocating dedicated budgets and also funding, investing in mobility infrastructure like My City bus services that connect to rail stations, and ensuring that commuter rail services remain the backbone of public transportation planning. This collaborative approach explains why Western Cape maintained more service continuity during the collapse years and why recovery is accelerating now faster than anywhere else. When the municipal and rail authorities work in genuine partnership with clear roles, shared data, joint resources, and coordinated planning, recovery happens faster, and even other metros are following suit. PRASA is set to sign similar service level plans with other cities where it operates. If successful, the Western Cape model could transform passenger rail services and its integration with metropolitan governance across South Africa.
Bra, right?
Kuhle bhuta khona kunjani?
Khawuzazise bra.
Okay bra, mina ndinguLuxolo maJamani, ndihlala ePhilippi mina bra.
Ezi train zinjani xa uziqhathanisa neza zaqala?
Wow, mahluko mkhulu bra. Kakhulu, because okokuqala ndingatsho ndithi as much as babe ndingayithembi mina, yabo, somehow safety mina ndiyayifila, yabo, because okokuqala apha eziporweni kukho intwana zigibisela amatye, ziyathini uyabo, so at least apha i-festires uyabo ugibisele ilitya linade lize kuwe, and ke ngoku siyakwazi ubona sometimes ubone kudlula abantu be-safety baqeshwe nguPRASA abajikeleza apha etraining, because kuqala kusithi ngouhleliyo kuhlala umuntu ecam kwakho kanti umuntu uza apha exesheni waphinda lo muntu ebe ngulo muntu uza kurobha, uyabo, kanti ngoku uyakwazi nje uhleli kanange umuntu wakwaPRASA uhleli udisguisile umzekelo, uyabo, into entsha mna ndenda experience kwakwezi train ezintsha.
The Western Cape generates the most commercial revenue of any other PRASA region, and it operates the most trains outside of Gauteng. Year to date, 25-26 performance shows 19 million trips, a 53% increase from the 2023-2024 13 million trips. For instance, for the week ending October 19, 2025, 223,000 actual trips against a 226,000 budgeted trips, just 1% below target for that week. Really great numbers. All of this reveals encouraging momentum. Recent months are exceeding targets, demonstrating accelerating recovery. This year-to-date gap of 18% reflects slower early months, but current trajectory shows that the network is gaining strength and ridership momentum. The Central Line corridors, starting from the lowest base, show the steepest growth curves. The Northern Line is adding ridership as word spreads about restored Stellenbosch to Wellington services. Even the already strong Southern Line continues to grow as occasional riders now return. So why is growth accelerating? Well, improving service frequency on restored routes, progressive lifting of speed restrictions, word-of-mouth recommendations from satisfied PRASA consumers, growing confidence that this recovery is going to be sustained, not just temporary. The service level planning partnerships delivering visible improvements in security, station maintenance, and even integrated transport planning. And on top of all of this, special event services that are exposing new audiences to rail. This challenge isn't now whether the recovery is happening. The data in Cape Town proves this. The challenge is accelerating that growth to meet the network's substantial capacity and undeniable potential and demands from riders. With all of this in place, PRASA is set to thrive here in the Western Cape. Look, this is one of the best positioned regions. The Western Cape has advantages that no other region possesses. Intact electrified infrastructure, modern rolling stock, functional signaling on key corridors, innovative governance partnerships, event integration strategies, tourism potential, that's a big one, and a commuter base with established rail culture. They already ride rails here. And increasingly, the Western Cape is capitalizing on those advantages. The 53% growth from the 23-24 year-to-date to 25-26 proves that when infrastructure works, governance aligns, events integrate, and the service itself is consistent, the people will return. The SLPs with the City of Cape Town, these represent a governance innovation that could become the national template, the national model. When municipal and rail authorities work together with clear roles, shared data, and even joint resources, as well as coordinated planning, recovery will accelerate. The Western Cape's challenge is meeting its own potential. With 460 kilometers of electrified rail track, 122 stations, 85 train sets, and arguably South Africa's most rail-ready commuter population, this region should be the national showcase. The infrastructure is ready. The trains are ready. The governance partnership is functional. The event integration, it's working. The system is operational institutionally and culturally. All of this is delivering the consistency that turns recovery into restoration. The Western Cape isn't just recovering. It's building momentum towards restoration and demonstrating how institutional innovation, event integration, as well as consistent service delivery can accelerate all of this process. In the end, it's up to all of the role players to come together and create a better rail service for the people with the people's train. Thank you for watching this video up until this point. I hope it was just as interesting for you to watch this entire series actually as it was for us to make for you. Maybe check out one of these other videos and hopefully they'll be just as interesting as this one. Cheers.